I almost forgot.
Almost forgot, but he didn't forget. We back. Hello, everyone. Hello, NASCAR. Hello, motorsports world. It is Speed Weeks. It is Daytona week. We're just 2 days away from the Great American Race itself. NASCAR is back, and so is Burnt Rubber Racing. That's right, season 2 of the podcast. It's here. I'm Henry John. Alongside me, once again, he didn't die despite all of what I put him through last year. He's back. Somehow he agreed to do this with me again. I feel like it's our little baby at this point, Mr. Zach McAdoo. Zach, how are you, my man? How was your off season? 2022 NASCAR Next Gen Cars. Holy cow! And I think we have to be a little bit more improved on the show, right? Like we have to. We got a season under our belts. Let's go.
Yeah, we have to be more professional, but with us, that's gonna be a tough thing to do. But yeah, I'm glad football season's over. We're on to NASCAR now.
Yeah, no one is happier that football season is over than me. And like Zach said, we are on to NASCAR. Let's go watch some real sport. Let's handicap some real sports. In this episode, we'll be doing Daytona 500 preview, predictions. We'll be running through DFS pricing. We'll be running through betting odds. We'll be doing our favorite props. I think we got to throw out our winning picks, right? I mean, come on. It's the Great American Race. I've got the Speedway shirt on. We're ready to go. Zach's got his Tyler Reddick hat on, of course. Zach, I think we have to start off, though. You know, it's been a long off season. Why don't you tell the fine listeners maybe anything of interest you were up to, any NASCAR stuff you were diving into in preparation for 2022? And we've also got to recap some of the notable news from the offseason, and in particular surrounding the Daytona 500 prior to the race this week.
So yeah, the big news across NASCAR this offseason was M&M announcing they would not be returning to Kyle Busch and the number 18 Toyota after the season.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say your trip to Disney World for the.
They don't care about that. I think in all honesty, I think it was 20. Oh, who cares about it? It's just me.
All right. You're a fifth of the way there.
Yeah. All right. But okay, before he had to interrupt me, yeah, this is big news because M&M's has been a part of NASCAR for at least 20 years, maybe longer than that. So a big NASCAR sponsor going to the wayside after this year. They did bring in a new CEO and some other marketing people, and they're going to venture into different possibilities and just leave NASCAR. It is what it is. Kyle did nothing wrong. It's a business standpoint, which you have to understand. M&M's doesn't think the marketing's there anymore in NASCAR.
This one hurts. I mean, it hurts a lot. Like the M&M's car is iconic. It's an iconic paint scheme of the sport. It's out there every single race, feels like, for as long as I can remember. It's been with Kyle Busch for a damn long time too, at that. So one driver, and now I guess we have to say goodbye to M&M's. Are they going to be in at all on any like select races like Skittles does? Nothing.
No, I got to rephrase. It's not just M&M's. I put M&M's in the rundown because that's what the brand usually is. It's all Mars. So it includes Skittles, Snickers, Double Mint, Pedigree. Interstate does like 10 races a year. That's not going to cover Kyle Busch at all. Like that's 10 races. So Kyle Busch is going to have to find, and JGR are going to have to find new possibilities, new sponsors for him going forward. Where is it? We don't know. Maybe unfortunately, Busch leaves Kevin Harvick and goes to a Busch.
Yeah, the winner of the Bushy McBusch race last year. That ridiculous name that Kyle Busch should not have won that race. I'm still not over NASCAR deciding to throw a caution after like 20 laps of that tire sitting in the infield. But okay, that's in the past. Apparently M&M's is going to be in the past in the not too near future too. It's pretty sad. I don't think anyone's going to be as upset as your aunt, Zach, but
yeah, she's already said she's bringing down all of her M&M's, not her Kyle Busch stuff after the year. Yeah.
Send my condolences to her as well, please. I have to counter you though. You said the biggest NASCAR news of the offseason was M&M's. I don't know about that because Floyd Mayweather Jr. is finally a team owner, and there it is. Zach hates this storyline. He thinks nothing's going to come of it. I know the number 50 is only running a part-time schedule this year, but hey, they qualified for the Daytona 500. We'll get to that and more of the dual results and whatnot before we preview the race itself. But yes, Floyd Mayweather Jr., iconic boxer, boxing legend, 50-0 professional record. The Money Team Racing, number 50. They're running a part-time schedule, select races this year. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a full-time in the future. He'd only been teasing this for what? 2 years, year and a half. Finally, Floyd Mayweather is in NASCAR. You've got to be excited, Zach. Come on.
I didn't care when it was announced. I don't care now because it's just that when your driver's Kaz Grala, I mean,
what's wrong with Kaz Grala?
There's better options out there.
He knows how to get around a super speedway.
Does he?
I think he does. He was right in the mix in that Daytona 500 until that car expired on him last year with Colleague. Come on.
But yeah, you just ruined one of the other
23. He's younger than me.
You ruined one of the other news I had here because I just Kaz Grala driving for the Money Team this year, and Greg Biffle, he's back driving the 44 for New York Racing or NY Racing, I should say. It might not be New York.
What the heck?
Maybe it's Nuevo York. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, it is 2022. You're right, and I think it is is it African American or Black? Which one is it these days? But yeah, that sector is the primary owner, and he's also one of the head people for the Daytona 500. They're making history. Good job.
Yeah, they have Grambling State. Is it Grambling State sponsoring, or is they just putting a different HBCU on the car every week?
I have no idea, but hey, the most important part here is Greg Biffle is back, and Greg Biffle also made the Daytona 500. So we've got young Kaz Grala and Floyd Mayweather, and then we've got Greg Biffle back out there. I mean, he's got a shot. He's been in this rodeo before. There are some intriguing open cars in this race, and some intriguing teams forming throughout the offseason. Obviously, there's been other movement as well. You've got Petty Motorsports and GMS joining forces. They've got 2 cars in the field now. Kozlowski going to Roush Fenway. So there have been a lot of moving parts here. Chip Ganassi going away. Trackhouse expanding. We touched on all of these things at the end of last year when we kind of knew how the silly season was already playing out. But even some of these smaller open teams as well, a lot of intrigue coming into this season for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get more into Biffle and Grala later, but we still need to finish the news and notes. We said quick, and this is not going quick.
It is not going quick.
Busch Beer is going to sponsor every woman in NASCAR that is above the age of 21. I'm sure you saw this news flash was it this week or last week when it came across? But Natalie Decker, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Tony Brettinger, Stephanie Meyer, and there's 2 others I'm forgetting off the top of my top. Amber Balson, and there's one more, I think. There's 1 or 2 more I can't remember the names of. But that's huge. Busch Beer is absolutely pushing the door for these women drivers, and I think they said it's either $1 million or $10 million. It's at least $8 million, I should say, for the next 3 years for these ladies.
Big stuff for sure. And Haley Deegan will soon be one of them too. But she's already got Monster. So
I don't think so.
How do you think that'll go?
They won't. Monster won't allow it. There's no doubt. So
I think I'm with you there. Bidding war. That's probably good for her though on the team.
Yeah, but I still think Monster's gonna be like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. You sign with us. We'll shut out the money, but you're staying with us. But
maybe they'll have like a little decal on the side or something. You never know. But yeah, big stuff obviously for for all of the women drivers getting a massive sponsorship deal like that.
Yeah. David Reagan back in now with Rick Ware Racing, doing better than his teammate. But yeah, David Reagan, a past winner at a plate track, back for at least the 500 and more races down the line. I'm happy to see this guy back. I predicted his win back in 2013 at Talladega, and I'll never live that down.
Yeah, just another one of these old timers who's getting back under the wheel. I mean, we can even go back down. Trevor Baines, a Daytona 500 winner, and I know he's only running a few races, and they are at the Xfinity level, but he's back in the sport this year after a few years away. So I don't know. I'm just so excited for this season. Like, we got drivers from old coming back, we got new drivers coming up. Like, we got drivers changing places. We got new teams in the mix. We got a new freaking car. Like, let's not dismiss that here, Zach. I think when we're wrapping up the news section here, we also have to say so far so good for the next gen car, as far as I can tell, right? I mean, these things look like a tank out there. It was a hard hit. Not to foreshadow our duels discussion, but that Joey Logano had on the last lap of that duel. And that car, honestly, yeah, he's going to a backup car in the 500, but it held up. I think these things are the next gen cars are going to be doing their job, especially when we get to short tracks, when we got the beating and banging. Your initial impressions, I guess, I know we haven't run a points paying race yet, but you, I'm sure, consumed the Busch Light Clash out at the LA Coliseum, which was won by Joey Logano. I did not. I had said last year I was going to boycott that. I wasn't watching. I didn't watch. I didn't follow it. I didn't care. But so you have seen a little more of the next gen cars than I have. So please give us your overall impressions, your initial takeaways.
The cars definitely seem like they're holding up a lot more. They're taking a lot more beats and bangs than what in past years. I think if you go back and look at the Busch Clash, the heat races, you would have seen a lot more cut tires than in the past if you used the Gen 6 car than what we see now with the next gen. The other thing Justin Haley pounded the wall, and it just absolutely tore his car up. Like, that's one thing I'm glad. I understand it's a new body, composite body, but still at the same time, should it have done that? Get that tore up or in a small little wreck like that when they're not going 100 miles an hour. But other than that, yeah, the only issue that we've seen so far, and this isn't on the teams at all. This is on the supply chain issues with there's only one backup car per team, really.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about
that impacted. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not talking about each number car like you normal. I'm talking Team Penske had two backup cars for their 4-car team. I'm including the 21 of Harrison Burton in this. So, if two of your guys go out and wreck, if Harrison Burton is he was part of it, but if he gets damaged anymore, that's both the backups right there. And it's a good thing. Well, I shouldn't say it's a good thing. You have 2 practices today and tomorrow. What if someone wrecks out there? And granted, they're probably not drafting, but something could happen theoretically. You're out of a backup car.
It's definitely a lot of pressure that's being put on these drivers. So essentially what Zach's getting at here is these teams don't have backup parts. They don't have backup cars. I read, I don't know if you saw this too, Zach, but that there's even a part shortage. So if you have a damaged first car and you need to replace parts, those are also in limited supply here, let alone backup cars for, if somebody like Logano totals his car on a poor blocking decision the last lap of the duel, like he did last night, as we're recording on Friday, you're screwed. You just don't have them in-house to replace. So what are you going to do when it gets to be the race? I have to believe that this is going to change as we move forward and as the next gen car becomes more mainstay. I'm assuming this is an early season, we're getting it out there type of thing, but it is a bit perplexing and it is a bit troublesome, and it definitely impacted the 2 Blue Green Vacations duel races last night, in that both were run caution-free for the first time since 2003, because teams and drivers, they just can't take the risks that they normally would, other than, I guess, Logano. I don't know what he was doing, but you can't tear up your car because you might not have the parts to fix it, or you might not have the backup car waiting for you on Sunday.
Yeah, and I don't remember what happened with at the beginning stages of the Gen 6 car when that was debuted. I don't know if they had this many problems with it.
It was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, it's 9 years
For
now.
our mush brains.
But if you go back and look at it, I don't remember the Gen 6 being pushed back the year like the next gen was. Granted, it wasn't for NASCAR reasons. It was for, we all know what happened reasons. But I still think it's the problem today is that, and it's going to happen going forward until the country starts opening back up. It's starting to open up a little bit more. I think you're going to see a lot.
Is it though?
Not the time.
Well, actually, I'm in Wyoming now. So all you listeners, I'm in Wyoming. I'm good. That was my big offseason news. We left that out of the real news and notes, Zach. Yours was Disney World for the 20th time. Mine is packing up and moving from New York State to Wyoming. I am free.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. I met Chase Elliott. I met Chase Elliott at Disney World.
Whoa! Breaking news here.
Yeah,
on the
Mickey
podcast.
Mouse.
What?
Mickey Mouse.
Oh, boom, boom. If only I had the soundboard. I need to ask Brumer about borrowing his soundboard. We can bring the Abilene Christian trumpets in here and everything for everyone who listens to the Florida Sports Podcast. But man, yeah. So I'm in Wyoming. You met Mickey Mouse, aka Chase
Elliott.
Oh my goodness. People are gonna hate you. You're starting off on the bad foot with the Chase Elliott fans. I saw this is just a quick note for you. I saw a little popularity thing. Maybe you saw it too. I don't know how widespread it was. I can't remember where exactly, but the top drivers in terms of followers on the Fox Sports app, Chase Elliott leads the way, as you might imagine. Kevin Harvick goes to number 5. Kevin Harvick's number 5. Those were the two that I went in there specifically looking for. And I was impressed that Harvick's in the top 5, but he's been around a while. He's got quite the legacy. So
yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Dang it! You made me forget what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I have a way of doing that to you. I think we touched on most all the news, though.
Yeah,
we're wrapping up our discussion there about the car, the next gen cars, which brings us to Speed Weeks at Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. NASCAR Cup Series qualifying for the Daytona 500 is in the books. Kyle Larson, I mean, who better to start the 2022 season on the pole than the man who dominated last season? He was my 2021 Athlete of the Year. Unfortunately, all of the almighty media seem to overlook his incredible accomplishments, not only in NASCAR, but on the dirt tracks, but that's beside the point. Kyle Larson clinches his first career pole at Daytona, qualifying speed of 181.159 miles per hour. His winning lap time in the time trials, 49.68 seconds. And for the 5th year in a row, Alex Bowman, Larson's Hendrick Motorsports teammate, will be on the front row for the start of the Daytona 500 as he turned in the second fastest time. So Hendrick Motorsports picking up where they left off a year ago, sweeping the front row in terms of the time trials and qualifying. Did you take in all of the qualifying live? Any opening impressions? I counted 6 drivers came in with lap times under the 50-second threshold, and 4 of the top 5 fastest laps were all Hendrick Motorsports. Big surprise.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it live, and I was doing other things as I was watching, so I didn't full attention wasn't there. But yeah, Bowman, the front rowman. What can we say? 5 years in a row for this guy. I don't like the 2 rounds. I think it should just be 1 round of qualifying, and where you get is where you get. And 2 rounds, I think, is stupid. It's just a waste.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like every time Alex Bowman does something good, you come up with a way to rhyme his name in there. You Showman, the front rowman. Like, so all you new listeners who are joining us for
I can't lie.
Season 2 of Burnt Rubber Racing,
I can't lie.
Please.
Bowman the front Roman came from someone on Twitter. Mike Joy repeated it last night, and I was like, okay, we're gonna run with it.
Okay. All right. So you're stealing things too. All right. Way to go. At least he's willing to give credit. Sometimes Zach isn't willing to do that, especially when it's my takes that he's trying to steal. But anyways, yeah, so Hendrick Motorsports really the team to beat, I would say, in qualifying. The only driver who was breaking up the Hendrick foursome there with a top 5 qualifying speed was Eric Almirola, who, by the way, that also happened during the offseason. This is quite abruptly, if you will, going to be Almirola's final full-time season in the sport, maybe his last runs ever, depending on what he decides to do with his future, as he announced his retirement following the 2022 campaign. He threw down a wicked qualifying time, though, to get the season started off right. And then the 2 fastest open cars, in other words, the non-chartered teams fighting for a spot in the 500, Noah Gregson for Beard Motorsports. So they will be back in the Daytona 500 after a 1-year absence. And Zach, I'm awful with this guy's name, so you got to help me out. Jacques Villeneuve. Did I get it?
Villeneuve.
Jacques Villeneuve. Okay. Jacques Villeneuve. I'm sorry to all his fans. Former Formula One legend. He's an Indy 500 champ too, right?
I don't know.
He's made inroads in IndyCar as well. Now I got to look this up and get my facts straight for sure. But
speaking of IndyCar, though, I got to go show you this. Oh,
boy. So while he gets that ready, Jacques Villeneuve also qualifying for the Daytona 500 based on his time trials. And he's with Team Hesburgh. So they are only running a few part-time races, I believe, this season as well. The number 27, it's a Ford Mustang. They had some issues in the second dual race last night, some mechanical issues. They ultimately pulled him behind the wall early on, but he was able to turn a few laps and secure his spot in the 500, although he'll be starting at the rear of the field. So good stuff there from Gregson and Villeneuve. What do you have to show me? I need to figure out if Villeneuve has ever won the Indy 500 race itself.
So, if you guys have been a long-standing show watcher here, you remember us last year doing our Memorial Day special, right? One of us just so happened to call the winner of the Indy 500, if you remember correctly. Yours truly. So, to commemorate that, I bought the winning car of Helio Castroneves in a 164 diecast form, and it is sitting on my wall. It will sit on my wall.
Now that is hot. There you go.
Yeah.
We love to see it. McAdoo adding to his diecast collection. I don't have money. If anyone wants to donate to me to fund Henry's startup diecast collection, I guess go for it. But Zach, just so you know, Villeneuve is a previous Indianapolis 500 winner, and he is also a Formula One champion. I can't remember if I actually gave him the title of champion or F1 legend. So there you go. There is his resume. Now he's starting in the Daytona 500 for Team Hesburgh. So we'll see what they got on Sunday as well. I guess we got to jump into the duels discussion here from last night. Like we already said, the part shortage really kind of led to some, what would you call it? Some tame racing, tamer than is typical for the Blue-Green Vacations duel races. No cautions in either one. That hasn't happened in nearly 20 years. But how about RFK? Roush Fenway Keselowski, what an opening statement for them. Brad Keselowski takes the first one, and Chris Buescher wins duel 2. So they sweep the duels. Too soon to say RFK's back? RFR, now RFK? I don't know. Are we willing to go there? Are we hyped? What's the expectation level now?
I think when they brought in Brad Keselowski, I think they were going there. You're going all in. That being said, I do want to see more than just this, because this is a race that what does it prove really? I mean, this isn't the Daytona 500. This isn't a regular race. it's getting ready for the 500. And that's what all I see with this. Yeah, it's a win. It's get some points.
It's 2 wins.
More power to them. But at the same time, we have to realize that we need a one-time showing is nothing really.
It's true, and one-time showing with only half of the Cup Series field involved in each race as well. But I think it definitely creates some promise for what we are going to see in the coming year. Now, as far as the open cars who were able to clinch their spots, now obviously Gregson and Villeneuve were good after qualifying. They just had to go out and start the dual races, and they were good to go, locking themselves in the field. The aforementioned Kaz Grala and the Money Team Racing. Quite the little comeback there after Grala's pit road speeding penalty. He was locked up in the draft. The lead draft got by the MBM Motorsports car of JJ Yeley, good old MBM. They try their best, man, but jeez. So Kaz Grala passes JJ Yeley on the final lap. Both were 2 or 3 laps down. I can't remember at that point. But Grala and TMT Racing into the Daytona 500. And then in the second dual race, it was a no contest between Greg Biffle and Timmy Hill, also driving for MBM Motorsports. Biffle, I think he finished with a top, didn't he finish 9th in the duel itself? He did quite well, but he is in the 500. Timmy Hill, JJ Yeley, MBM Motorsports, the 2 open cars who showed up to Speed Weeks on the entry list that will not be in the Daytona 500 as the field is capped at 40. What else from the duels? Anything of note? Well, Joey Logano, that timely block.
You figured he would have learned
what was
after
he
last
doing?
year. You figured he would have learned after last year's 500 where he mistimed that block and took them all out.
It was like deja vu.
Yeah, except this one was
Michael McDowell was running 3rd again, too. I thought I was going back a year.
Except this year, you had them coming off of turn 2 instead of going into turn 3. Yeah, I don't know. Joey, he's got to time his stuff better. That's all you really can say, because Buescher was there, and it's not on Buescher at all. It's on Logano not knowing when to not block.
I texted you right after it happened. I was like,
Yeah.
Dude, he was an hour late with that block because he was it felt like Buescher's whole front nose, quarter panel, maybe even there was a good chunk of that car already there, and Logano goes to block. You knew the run was going to come when he backed up to McDowell. You should have been inching that way at that point if you really wanted to. Don't know what he's doing. So Joey Logano, where is he here in the starting grid?
He will start 20th, but he's going to go back to the pack because he's going to a backup car.
Correct. So he qualified, sits in the starting lineup at number 20, but because they have to switch to that rare thing that is the backup car, I guess right now we could say, Joey Logano will have to start at the rear of the field back with the open entrance on Sunday. So that brings us to Sunday, the 64th running of the Daytona 500, the Great American Race, the Super Bowl of stock car racing. Zach, I'm so hyped to preview this thing. Where should we start here? Do we want to? Do you have any quick facts on the track itself before we get into some driver discussion? Just throw some interesting notes at us.
All right. Daytona was opened in 1959. The first Daytona 500 was back in the same year. It's hosted the most prestigious race in the world ever since. Yeah, we have, let's see, Richard Petty has won here the most with 10 times. The active driver the most wins is Denny Hamlin. He's got 3 wins with all the 500 in 2016, 19, and 20. Kurt Busch, he's got the most top 5 and top 10s here out of the active guys. Richard Petty just sweeps them all with wins, top 10s, top 5s, because you wonder why when your career is that long. But yeah, I think.
Well, come on, he was pretty darn good too.
Maybe a little extra help.
3 500s in 4 years. Come on, Zach. Don't be hating on the king. I am not going to stand for this. But that's good stuff as always.
He maybe cheated a little bit, but
oh my goodness. obviously Daytona 500, the distance of the race, 500 miles. That's 200 laps around the 2.5 mile long world center of racing. Super speedway racing, don't forget that. So as we start to look towards a preview and handicapping, Daytona and Talladega, the two super speedways NASCAR runs at annually. The racing here, different, completely different from every other track the Cup Series will run this year. You have the draft, you have pack racing, you have the restrictor plate, I guess technically now known as the tapered engine space, or is it still called that with the next gen cars? Who knows?
That's what my guess is.
We're just going to call it plate racing at this point because I'm sick of saying that over and over again. I'm sick of writing it out. Restrictor plates just sounds better anyway. Levels the playing field, though. That's basically what you have to know. So everyone, as long as you're sticking with that lead pack draft, you have a shot when it gets down to the nitty-gritty at the end of the race. Why is it a super speedway? It's because the turns are banked at a massive 31 degrees. Also 18 degrees of banking through the tri-oval, which is home to the start-finish line. Zach, have you ever been to Daytona? Can't remember.
Yeah, I've been there. I went when it was still Daytona USA, like the little museum there inside Daytona, but I've never been to a race.
Yeah, so did they have at that point the exhibit where you can walk up the track banked at the 31 degrees?
You're I don't know. We're talking 17 years ago at this point. I was 8.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
it's not even. I was
just down
7.
there last summer,
I was
so
7.
I don't know what it was like 17 years ago, but last summer in the at the museum at Daytona International, they have one of the things you can do is walk up a section of track that is banked at 31 degrees. So obviously, like, you're inside, it's not the real speedway itself, but the banking is the same. And let me tell you, it is steep to climb up that thing. So that's why the cars are able to go so fast. They're not going to be flying out of this bowl like they might at some other tracks potentially if they aren't careful, where the banking is much less. So hence the super speedway, hence the racing package, hence the restrictor plate to try and keep speeds down, have driver safety, and hence the best version of racing the sport provides at Daytona and Talladega. And we get it in the Great American Race this week. Zach, you mentioned Denny Hamlin. He has 3 Daytona 500 wins. He also has the best average finish over the last 10 races among current active NASCAR Cup Series drivers, with one slight exception, which I'll get to in a second. Denny Hamlin, average finish of 13.2. He won the 500 in both 2019 and 2020, as well as in 2016. And look at some of these other finishes. The tight draft pack racing levels the playing field. The betting odds are longer this week than they will be at any other race, other than Talladega and when we get back to Daytona later in the year. Hamlin has been Mr. Consistent, third in the Daytona 500 in 2018, wins it in 2019, wins it in 2020, also finished third in the Coke 400 later in 2020, fifth in the 500 last year. And he didn't have any Toyota help last year's race, if I remember correctly, either, right? Because they were all taken out on lap 14.
No, Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace are still there after that wreck.
Okay, so there were a couple.
And so is Bell, the one who caused the wreck. So, I mean...
Yeah, he was there, but not quite fully there. But yeah, Denny Hamlin is the man to beat around this place. The betting odds for the 2022 500 reflect that. Zach, there is one slight exception, though, and that is Justin Haley, who is the full-time colleague racing driver. He's chasing a championship as the social media, the you really have to follow college racing.
Chasing trophies, that's what it's called, not
chasing trophies. He's trophy hunting. And then they're going to have the 16 car with a few other drivers in it too. Daniel Hemrick's driving in the 500. But Haley's chasing trophies. And Haley knows how to get around Daytona. He won the Coke Zero Sugar 400 back in 2019. So he has a NASCAR Cup Series win here at the track. He's run 3 of the last 5 Cup races here, including last summer. 1st, 13th, and 7th Those are his finishes. Are we buying into Justin Haley? That's going to be my initial question. And then also, if you want to shout at any other driver stats, driver pedigree here at Daytona, the floor is yours.
I'm not buying Haley yet.
Okay.
He's only got what? He's 3 starts in the Cup Series in at Daytona, right? So it could. I mean, we always say it's luck here, and that could just be it. He hasn't had that Daytona downfall yet that we're all used to seeing, like we saw lap 14 on last year's Daytona 500. I mean, how many wrecks were there late in the Coke 400 last year?
There were a few. I was
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there. I was watching, nervous as hell. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I just remembered the only downfall, because I remember I would always send you what my heart rate is at. This doesn't have that anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah,
that's so disappointing.
Yeah,
what was it last year during the I think during the closing laps of the Daytona 500, your heart rate was up around 130, right?
120, 130, yeah.
Yeah, because my response is that's like my typical warm-up speed walk on the treadmill heart rate before I lift.
Yeah, and
but
then
I don't know how you couldn't last year.
That wasn't the highest it's been ever. Like, it's been higher than that.
You're crazy, man. You need to exercise. But that's
what
Daytona
does. I'm not a shape, asshole. And that's professionalism.
You don't want a too high heart rate. You want to keep the blood pressure down. That's all I'm suggesting. It's healthy for you.
I care about my sports, man. Okay, let's move on.
I know. I do too. Anyone else you want to shout out? I'll throw Michael McDowell out there as well. Of course, our defending Daytona 500 champion. Everyone's saying, oh, yeah, that's a fluke. He's priced the same 66-1 long shot again this year. But, hey, he won here last year. He's got 2 more top 5s in the Great American Race over the last 10. I'm sorry, one of those came in the Coke 400, it looks like. But average finish of 14.0. That's behind only Hamlin and Bubba Wallace among drivers who have run the majority of the last 10 here at the track. So I'll throw him in there as a guy you definitely have to look at in, I think, at least matchups and groups this week. 3rd in his duel last night. He'll be starting strong. Had a solid practice run as well. I believe on the first day of practices, he was one of the top times in one of those sessions. So I'm keeping an eye on McDowell. Anyone else you're going to be trying to keep an eye on here as we look at some DFS and some betting here?
So a guy who has the same odds as Michael McDowell, I'm looking at Eric Jones. Eric Jones has a win at Daytona. He's got another non-points one where everyone was absolutely wrecked, but he just happened to drive his beat up, taped up car, if that's what you call it, to the finish line after getting pushed by his teammate. And this year, Eric Jones has a teammate. He's got some help this year with Ty Dillon, and I know the rest of the Chevys are right there with him. They've got RCR power, so don't be afraid to look at Eric Jones this year.
I like that a lot. I think the Petty GMS team, they're going to quietly be pretty solid once they get a little extra funding. They're joining forces. I know they got 2 cars. That's a team that could sneak up on a few people this year, and I'm talking even beyond Daytona. But like you said, Jones, it's really looking at his last 10 races here on the log. It's been all or nothing. Like he either gets taken out, like last year's 500 got taken out right away, or he's right up there. 4 finishes over the last 10 races, 12 or better, 3 top 10s, and like you said, he won the second race, the Coke 400 back in 18, was 3rd in the 2019 Daytona 500. So he knows how to get around here. I like that call a lot. Let's jump into some DFS. Let's do it. Draftkings, NASCAR, daily fantasy. Zach's the guru here. I just kind of read off the prices and try to drop my 2 cents in where I can and probably ruin everything he tells you. But, you know, I'll try my best to be a little more behaved this year. We are looking at pricing for the Daytona 500. And we're going to try and put together a lineup here on the show. So, need 6 drivers in here, Zach. Denny Hamlin, he's the highest priced of the bunch, $10,500. Chase Elliott, we talked about him having that top 5 qualifying time. Looked like the Chevys kind of fell back a little bit once we were actually doing some racing with other cars on the track at the duels last night. Those were dominated by Fords. Obviously, you had 2 Fords winning and other Fords up at the front. Elliott, though, 10,400. Your pole sitter, Kyle Larson, 10,200. Ryan Blaney, an even 10. Joey Logano, he's going to be starting at the rear now, 9,800. So those are your favorites on the pricing board. We also we referenced Fanduel, I think, all of last year. So the other question I think we need to have you answer, at least for the listeners who are coming back to join us for season 2 after listening all of last year, are there any scoring differences between FanDuel and DraftKings that we should note?
Yes, and I've already had to change over the Google Doc that we had for DFS, and that's been so much fun.
I'm so sorry to inconvenience your life.
Yeah, why I hate to switch already, but it's 25. It's 0.25 for every lead lap. I think it's 0.45 for every fastest lap here, and the rest is around the same. It's a point differential for position difference, and then you get points based on where they finish. I don't know what the points are for for FanDuel, so I'm pretty sure we're just gonna say they're the same. Why not?
We're gonna forget FanDuel because then we're just gonna confuse ourselves. So fastest lap, that's an interesting one to note. Obviously, Daytona, a lot of
it's for each fastest lap
at the same time. Yeah,
which I don't. It's just stupid. Why fastest lap doesn't matter?
Well, it accumulates more fantasy points, so that makes it exciting.
No, it's so stupid.
All right, you'll get over it. Do you have any 1 or 2 or maybe 3? I don't know, of those 5 favorite drivers that I listed off? Hamlin, Elliott, Larson, Blaney, Logano, as we try to construct a winning lineup here on the podcast.
I got 2 of them. I have Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano. Yeah, Logano's going to be starting out back, but he's still got that 20th place starting position. I think he's going to get through the field a little bit easier, not easier, but get through the field and help his position out, gain points from that 20th place starting spot. And then if you look at Denny Hamlin, he's going to do the same, especially since he's starting 30th. Denny Hamlin is a master here. Even if you don't like the guy, you have to admit that. I mean, it always seems like he's up front for the 500, and even any Daytona race really. But those are two of your favorites, if you want to call that. I'm like.
Yeah, Daytona really feels like Hamlin's personal playground. And to your point about both he and Logano, lesser, I would say, than expected for sure, spots on the starting grid, especially Hamlin. So that's going to be an opportunity to bank some points, you would think, right then and there, regardless of how things kind of shake out after the fact. So we've got Denny Hamlin. I'm filling this thing out so we can keep track of pricing here. We're going all in.
What do you think? I'm looking at my phone telling you that.
No, I want to fill it out too. Maybe I'm going to tail it. Who knows? So we got Hamlin and Logano in. We've got Kyle Busch as we drop down here into these next few drivers at 9,600. William Byron, 9,400. Kevin Harvick, your 2007 Daytona 500 winner on this date in sports history. Check it out, flurrysports.org.
15 years ago.
9,200. Kurt Busch, an even 9. Martin Truex Jr., I don't know if I'd be looking at him here. I guess he finished runner-up in this race not too long ago, but 8,800. Alex Bowman, front row Bowman. Is that what you had? Front Roman? I don't even know. 8,600. Austin Dillon, a former champion of the race, 84. Bubba Wallace, 83. Brad Keselowski, your dual winner, 82. Double A at 8,000. How many drivers are we selecting out of the 8,000 and up tier here?
We're selecting 2 again.
2, all right.
Austin Dillon and Double A. I believe Double A is going to go out and prove himself one more time at a restrictor plate track. And Austin Dillon didn't have a good showing last night. He's going to prove himself that his 2018 win wasn't a fluke.
Any concern out of you? I know you're a Stewart Haas guy with Kevin Harvick. The inability of the SHR cars to hold the draft. last night? Was that just them not really caring? I know at one point they backed out of the lead pack, and I think that was by default. But then even later on in the race, when it was quite clear, that you would want to stick with draft or drafting partner, both Almirola and Harvick struggled to do that.
Yeah, Almirola pulled out early in that race, and I knew I put $5 on Almirola. I was like, oh, there goes that, because I was like, he's not catching back up. But yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. Briscoe seemed to be the only one who could like really suck up and stay with him. I don't know if it's because of the fork. Like yesterday, we were talking about 4 cars is like the optimal draft, and after they said, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because you had the 4 Fords in the first race go flying by, and they left everyone. You had the after the pit stops, Harvick couldn't stay with the other 4 Fords, and he got absolutely left behind, and he wasn't happy about it. I was listening to his radio last night, and that's the first time I heard Harvick drop an F-bomb in the middle of a race. Yeah, I'll be subscribing to more stuff like that this year, because I do want to hear that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was just Stuart Haas. I think it was every team couldn't suck up if there was like more than 4 cars. Like a lot of, because even you saw Ricky Stenhouse, Stenhouse couldn't really stay with the Toyotas after the Toyotas passed Harvick and Stenhouse last night.
Right. So kind of out of view, I guess you were noticing like it has to be the whole pack or 4 cars, and you really don't want to have 1 or 2 more or less than that, you think?
Yeah.
All right. That'll be something to watch for sure, especially, with these manufactured pit stops that they do these days. Could it be a problem for a team like the Toyotas? Very well could, and that could hurt someone like Hamlin, but usually it seems like Hamlin's just too dang good here to be bothered by the lack of numbers. Anyway, Zach, we got 4 out of 6 spots in this DraftKings Daytona 500 DFS lineup filled out. That means we need 2 more drivers, and they'll both have salaries of less than $8,000. You ready to reveal some of these long shots for us?
Tyler Reddick. I've been
Shocking.
high on Tyler Reddick this whole. I don't know what it is. I think this has got to be the year he does something. But as far as I believe it's his year. I'm just gonna say it like that. He's been good at the draft. He knows what he's doing, and this year he's at least gonna get a top 10, if not more. And then the other guy, I gotta go with a cheapie here. I'm gonna go Noah Gregson. I don't know why it took me a second to think of his name, but NG. He's a great plate track racer. He has a win in the Xfinity Series here. He's in the 62, which has done well at the plate tracks. Beard Motorsports. I don't know what they do here, but they have it. As far as everything, I mean, they start 39th. They can't lose that many points if they do, and it's just there. It's there. The points are there for the taking, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Gregson pick a lot. 62 has had a lot of success. Brendan Gaughan, obviously driving that car for Beard Motorsports in the past at these plate races. Gregson threw down in qualifying, didn't really care about his duel. He didn't need to. So he's locked in a lot of positions to gain there, starting 39. So I would say at the very least you're gonna find some DFS points for yourself there. Zach, you had $300 in salary left over, though. I'm so disappointed. I'm just throwing away money. Also, Alex is in the chat here, and I just clicked over to it. So sorry I missed this earlier, but he wondered, did you learn to hit the brakes at Watkins Glen on Forest?
Yes, I know. I could read the chat too, but he doesn't know how to spell, so I was going to ignore that one. But yes, we did learn how to hit the brakes on a video game.
Okay, all right. I don't know. As soon as the clutch got involved, you started having some issues. I was there to witness that one.
No, he's talking about something else.
Oh,
that was awful.
I'm talking about the sim, and I am
iRacing sucked.
totally
okay, iRacing sucked.
Did the iRacing suck, or did the operator suck? I'm not sure.
Both.
He's able to.
That was just freaking awful.
You were fine on the little stupid Toyota thing, but once we got over to the real deal, I don't know. Maybe you were just starstruck after meeting Sheldon Creed.
Shut up.
All right. Let's talk some Daytona 500 betting here. We're referencing the odds at BetMGM Sportsbook. Like we said earlier, Denny Hamlin is your odds-on favorite to win, 8-1, considering he's won 3 of the last 5 editions of the Great American Race. That makes quite a lot of sense. We talked about his average finish earlier as well. Kyle Larson is 10-1. Chase Elliott also at that price. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano 12-1. William Byron has a Daytona win in his past, 14-1. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, a name, Zach, that you mentioned. He runs very well here in terms of overall consistency, are 16-1, as is Kurt Busch's new teammate as he joins 23XI Racing, Bubba Wallace. Alex Bowman, 18-1. Kevin Harvick is 20-1. Quite the list there. And like we said, you look at these odds to win, they're longer this week than they will be for most all other races outside of Daytona and Talladega this season because of the nature of super speedway racing. So even your favorite is priced at 8-1. Normally you're looking, I don't know, what we say last year, Zach, probably that was the 4th or 5th choice on the board a lot of weeks. Kind of got a little lopsided as Kyle Larson asserted his dominance, but usually your favorite, sometimes you're going to find down 3-1, 4-1 range. So 8-1 is a hefty return on a guy who is as solid here as Denny Hamlin. Any of those names stand out to you? Is your pick to win in this first group? Don't say your pick to win now. We're saving those for the end. I'm just curious. Is he in there?
No, because I want someone who has better odds than 8-1 here.
Yeah, we're going big or going home. Thank you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, especially here.
Anyone stand out if you had to bet from that group, though? 20-1 and down.
Maybe Kurt, because he did get it done 5 years ago. I predicted that one. But as far as everyone else, I don't trust Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin, his odds are too short. And then William Byron, yeah, he was like fast in qualifying, but other than that, he didn't do well last night.
Very true. There's 2 Penske drivers in there, Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. When it comes to, I think, working together on these restrictor plate tracks, nobody does it quite like Penske. But in that same breath, there are 2 other drivers. Well, one's Penske, one's Wood Brothers, pseudo Penske. Yeah, they're both rookies, but they're going to have longer odds. And I just don't know that I love taking Blaney or Logano at 12-1 either. So I'm kind of with you. Like that, no one really up there stands out. Harvick at 20-1. Harvick's
not a plate racer. He proved that.
Yeah, his plate racing days, like you say, they're behind him. So we'll keep going here. Eric Almirola, that's a name you had in DFS, 22-1. He knows how to get around these super speedways. MTJ, 25-1. No thank you with him on plate tracks. Austin Dillon, 25-1. Another guy you threw out in DFS. Buescher, your dual 2 winner, 25-1. Then we get to one of these Penske rookies I'm talking about. Austin Cindric, 33-1. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse all join him at that price. I think I'm going to cut it off there. Talk to me about the second tier.
Truex is not the guy here. He chokes.
I love Truex. Don't get me wrong.
But I do like AA. I think he's priced about right, along with Cindric and Reddick and all them. Buescher, he's got to be a sneaky one, especially after last night. I think he could steal it.
Good. Remember how well Chris Buescher started off last year, and then it just went down the drain from there. It's a new season. He's got a new teammate, new equipment. Is Chris Buescher a playoff driver? Preseason pick right now.
I'm gonna lean no. I'm gonna lean no as of now. I think that there's 16 other guys who are gonna be better suited than him.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna ask you next. I gotta pull it up though. So you said Chris Buescher in this group. I like that call. 25-1. I wish it was a little longer, honestly, but obviously it comes down after the dual win. However, you bet Chris Buescher for a top 3 at 6-1. That's not bad at all. I wonder what his top 10s are. We'll get there in a little bit. Zach, do you have the MGM odds up in front of you to reference?
I can.
Okay. So we'll keep going here. I'm going to read off the next group. If you can pull those up just to talk, I'm going to find the follow-up to Chris Buescher playoffs I want to ask you. All right. Ross Chastain, 40-1. Justin Haley, 40-1. Michael McDowell, 40-1. Wow.
Whose odds did you want?
No, I just need you to have the list in front because you're going to have to carry the discussion in a second after I read these guys off. So Michael McDowell's 40-1 here. He's 66-1 still elsewhere. So I don't know if BetMGM has moved heavy on the defending champ or what. But that is interesting to note. You got the other Penske rookie, pseudo Penske, whatever, Harrison Burton, 50-1 for the Wood brothers. Chase Briscoe also at that price. Daniel Suarez, Cole Custer, Eric Jones, guy Zach mentioned. Daniel Hemrick driving the second colleague car. Greg Biffle, 66-1. And Ty Dillon, 80-1. Everyone else is triple digits. We'll get there in a little bit because one of Zach's DFS options is actually in there in those triple digit odds, and it's Daytona. So we got to mention him. But Zach, discuss the 40-80-1 range. I got to find this other bet so I can ask you that.
So on BetMGM, and I think there's another one. It might have been DraftKings. I put down money on Eric Jones to win the race. I think I explained why earlier, but 66-1 odds. That is not something that he should have. Like, he should have shorter odds. I understand he's trying for Richard Petty GMS Motorsports, but I think Jones is well equipped to drive at a play track where he can draft, and he can't get himself to the front. McDowell, his odds are too short. I'm leaning against him here. I don't like how he's only 40-1. It could be because a lot of people are thinking, well, he got himself up there last night. He finished second in the duel, and he won here last year. It's not why. It's not worth it there.
God.
What?
Sorry to butt in. He's moved all the way down to 28-1 at DraftKings. So if you want to bet McDowell, do it at BetMGM. But to Zach's point, I mean, that is rude because it was 66-1 earlier in the week.
Yeah, he was up there with Eric Jones, I believe. Where's racing? Of course, more sports is not on.
I agree with you on Eric Jones. I think he's worth a look there at that value as well. You could even look at his teammate, Ty Dillon. Maybe not in his first Cup Series race back, but the teammate, they'll have the Chevy Force as far as pit stops go. So he's sitting there at 80-1 as well. Did you have something you needed to add, or can I ask you this Buescher follow-up?
McDowell is 32-1 at Fanduel, and on Caesars.
Oh, look at you shopping the odds.
He's 40-1. Yeah, I downloaded all four sports. Well, there's a fifth one that we could have, but four of them so I could look around.
See, but Wyoming only has BetMGM and DK right now, so I don't really care about the rest. But I'm not even a Wyoming resident legally yet, so don't have access. Maybe we'll get it done today. I don't know if my birth certificate came in the mail yet or not. But anyway, follow-up question for you. You leaned no on my question, will Chris Buescher make the playoffs? Knowing you would have a full season ahead of you to hedge, knowing that you thought he might be worth a look at 25-1 in the Daytona 500, knowing that RFK is going to be stronger, would you bet right now, put a little pizza money or more, I guess, if you were so inclined, on Chris Buescher to win the NASCAR Cup Series 2022 championship, 200-1 odds at BetMGM? No. Wouldn't do it.
No.
Okay.
I put my money.
What would you need to make that bet? What odds?
I don't know. I just don't think. I don't see Buescher racing the championship in the end. I need to you need a chance for me to bet that, and I don't see it happening.
That's fair. It's fair. All right, we got to jump over here. I need to look at some top tens. Zach, Denny Hamlin is minus 450. You'd have to lay that for him to finish top 10. Don't make that bet. It's Daytona 500. He could get knocked out on lap 14, like a lot of guys did last year. Don't lay minus money. Are you laying minus money on anyone to finish top 10? Like, we got minus 110 all the way down through Tyler Reddick.
No, you can't, because it's so unpredictable that it's not worth it.
Absolutely agree. Ross Chastain is plus 110 for a top 10. Might be worth a look. Maybe Justin Haley if you want to get behind his strong showings here in the past. Zach, the guy I'm looking at, though, for a top 10 was in those triple-digit odds that I actually never wound up reading off, but we can go back to those if we really have to. Noah Gregson, plus 275. You talked about him in DFS. You talked about the success Beard Motorsports has had when they get into these play races with Brendan Gaughan in the past. You talked about how Gregson knows how to get his way around the super speedways, and that he does. Nearly 3-1 for a top 10. I like that.
Yeah, but again, it's tough. It's the unpredictability I don't like, but Gregson might be one you just have to throw some money on and just hope for the best with those odds.
Yeah, hey, I mean, if you're going to bet on a top 10 in this race, you might as well do it with a return because of that unpredictability. I guess that's the way I look at it. I feel like he can survive and get through and be around at the end. Do we really have to read triple digits? Do you care that much? Floyd Mayweather, Kaz Grala, 125-1 to win. Gregson's 100-1, by the way. Todd Gilliland takes over for Anthony Alfredo, 150-1. Cody Ware, your boy. Are we bringing Cody Ware back? He was keeping up with the draft last night. I was all excited before we got on live, telling Zach how I couldn't believe Cody Ware was keeping up with the draft. 250-1 to win.
You go ahead and you put money on him this sport. How about that?
You got more sports books. Maybe you can find better odds at Caesars or something. I don't know. Shop the odds on Cody Ware. Why don't you go do that? That'll keep you busy.
Yeah, I'll do that. Let's. All right, I'll do this. Let's try to get. Who are we picking to win this race? Let's start there because we're going over time here.
Oh, we got some to cut out, so you're good. Who are we picking to win this race? Does that mean I have to go first?
If you want to.
I'll go first.
Are you still thinking about it? Do you want me to go first?
I am still thinking about it.
All right.
Partly because I try to pick with betting value too, because I have to write it up in the column anyway, so I have to convince myself.
All right, I'll just say mine. I've got the guy on my head here. I'm going Tyler Reddick. I think it's his time. He's gonna win with that 3 on it. The one freaking sponsor I don't want him to have because and he's gonna start blazing it in victory lane because that's what it is. Do you need more time, or because I can still spout?
Yeah, I need more time.
Okay, number 2. I've already said I put some money on Eric Jones. Eric Jones is my second guy that I have money on. I wouldn't be surprised to see him. And then the third guy, I put $1 on Tyler Reddick because he has 130-1 odds. Well, he did have 131 odds. I don't know what they are anymore. But yeah, there you go, people. Now it's his turn because he's still thinking, well, I'm sitting here trying to talk and waste time. And he needs to do something now.
You know what? Screw it. You're picking your boy. I'm going to pick my boy, Ross Chastain, 40-1. Gets it done. He knows his way around here. Trackhouse has got all those nice, fancy new assets coming in from CGR. Chastain's got a teammate in Daniel Suarez. It's time. Go get it done.
I'm pretty sure Cody Ware has
the Daytona 500.
Cody Ware and Jacques Villeneuve have 750-1 odds on Caesars and BJ McLeod has 1,000-1 odds.
Wow. So I guess if you want to bet on those guys,
yeah, go.
Where accessible. Or just Venmo Zach your dollar. the Venmo account is open once again for season 2.
I forgot about that.
It's back. Just.
Oh, here's some interesting.
Donate the money to a good cause. Don't give it to one of these sports books. They don't need more money.
Yeah, we can get more diecasts like this and show them all.
Yeah, that smiling face right next to me. He needs money.
Oh, here's some good props though. I mean, Caesars apparently has like Kyle Busch finishing position over under 11.5. Austin Dillon finishing position. Tyler Reddick, Larson, Wallace, Hamlin. Ooh, Hamlin has 7.5.
That MGM does not have finishing position props like that. I like those though. They do have a bunch of race parlays, so like you can bet on Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick both to finish in the top 10. That might be something Zach likes, given how he won in DFS and he picked the other to win. Maybe a bit biased there, but whatever. Plus 220. So some unique ways to bet on the Daytona 500. Hopefully they keep these going throughout the season. And it's not just for the biggest race of the year, but hard telling. Looking at the matchups, Zach, everything is really kind of close, considering the unpredictability of this thing. I only see 2 guys with even money on the board at BetMGM, and that is Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano matched up against Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. I would bet that Ryan Blaney one without hesitation, just knowing how well Penske works together here. And Larson's not a huge fan of super speedways. If I do remember correctly, he said that himself. The other plus money one, the only other one, is Kevin Harvick, plus 125, fittingly matched up against Chase Elliott, who is a massive minus 150 favorite in a matchup at the Daytona 500. I got to look Harvick there myself.
Sorry, I'm looking at odds for the truck and Xfinity race. But yeah, repeat what you just said. You did this to me. You did this to me.
Stop being a degen. I did not do that to you. Kevin Harvick is plus 125 in a race matchup against Chase Elliott, a minus 150 favorite. This is the Daytona 500 we're talking about. I know Harvick doesn't have, he's not the plate racer he once was.
But you still like those plus odds.
Plus 125 in a matchup?
Yeah.
You're on him. Okay. That's all I needed. Boy. How about some groups?
I hold on before you get. I had to put a bet in on your favorite race name. Come on, it's back. The stupid beef. It's what's for dinner. 300 is back, and was the whole thing last year.
You know what? I think they changed though. I'm almost positive that the beef was followed by an exclamation point last year. Now it's followed by a period.
It was a period.
Was it a period? Are you sure?
Yes. 100%.
Maybe it was only an exclamation point in the show title. Then I don't know. But
or maybe you're the one who needs to focus up.
Ooh, that was a low blow there. I'm just gonna go to look at some group odds real quick, and then we can get out of here. Just like Zach's DFS stuff, you'll be able to find more of my betting analysis.
FlurrySports.com.
Written form, FlurrySports.org, not .com.
Our little section.
Focus. Group betting. Let's I don't know. Let's do Group A just because Denny Hamlin's in there, and I'm curious to see how you would react to him being paired down in a foursome as opposed to the full field head-to-head, win. Yeah. Plus 230 for Hamlin as the favorite. Ryan Blaney plus 270. Chase Elliott and Joey Logano rounded out at plus 280. If I want to bet Denny Hamlin on Sunday, this is where I do it.
Yeah.
I'm getting over 25% of the return on him to win the race outright as I am for him to beat only 3 other drivers. And I like that a lot. I like that math. Do you agree?
You compare 39 to 3. I mean, the odds are in your favor here more than they are when picking the winner. And we've talked about this a lot. Denny Hamlin is a very good Daytona driver here. It's hard to go against him whenever they come here. So you kind of lean towards him in this group.
Completely agree. You know what? BetMGM doesn't label the groups Group A, Group B, Group F. So we don't technically have a Group F, but are we still going to go with the bottom right corner each and every week, Zach? Is that going to be a thing again?
Just find the worst group and we'll call it Group F at this point. Yeah, I was upset. Fanduel only has like 2, and like they don't call it like Group A, Group B.
Fanduel sucks.
Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom right corner, given that Denny Hamlin is in the top left, I can safely assume that the bottom right is what BetMGM is specifying as Group F. So if Cody Ware's ever going to show up in a group this year, it'll be down in that bottom right. And this week, BetMGM, for some reason, has AJ Allmendinger listed on the site as being in the Daytona 500. He's not. So we're going to operate under the assumption that's Daniel Hemrick, just for all intents and purposes. So Daniel Hemrick, Ross Chastain, and Justin Haley are all plus 260 in this group. And Chase Briscoe is a lone wolf long shot at plus 290. Press F to pay respects, Zach. That's your thing. What are we doing here?
I like honestly, I like Chase Briscoe after what he showed us last night. At plus 290 has good return, and I think Briscoe does a lot better this year than what he did last year, because that was pretty sketchy.
He came on strong toward the end of last year, though. To his credit, though, too, there were some.
I was talking about just the Daytona 500. You have to separate what he did the rest of the year from the Daytona 500.
Yeah, wouldn't it be something if it's a drag race between he and Denny for the win on Sunday?
Oh my!
Wouldn't that be good? Oh, juicy scenarios. Bringing back the rivalries from a year ago. NASCAR's back. Front Rubber Racing's back. I think we just completed our first episode of season 2. And it might actually become 2 episodes once it actually goes up, because we went over an hour. So last little bit for those who are watching now, for those who will eventually listen to this in audio form, you can expect not 1, not 2, but 3 shows from us each and every week. That's right. We're breaking things up this year to make it a little easier to get through a full episode, maybe on your commute to work or what have you. I'm a big podcast guy when I'm eating breakfast in the morning, but if a show goes more than like 30, 40 minutes, I'm not going to finish it because I got other things to do. I can't just sit around and wait for you to finish talking. So
the ADD kicks in.
Yeah, it's full-blown ADHD at this point. It really is. It's bad. I think it's gotten worse. I don't know. Anyway, enough about me. You will get the main preview, betting, DFS, analysis, handicapping, picks show. We're going to be recording that every Thursday night and or Friday mornings like we're doing this week because of the duels last night. All kind of depends on our schedules, on what NASCAR's got going that week. Saturday night race, obviously, we'll do Thursday, get it up a little sooner, etc. That's going to be every Thursday. There will be at least 2 of us here for that. After each race, may only be one of us, maybe more. Depends on the week, depends on schedules. But there's going to be a quick recap show going over the highlights of the race, 15, 30 minutes, get you caught up. If you did miss it, if you just want to hear some analysis on what went down after watching it, get some full-blown insider. I hate the term expert. I can't call myself an expert when I'm talking about this. NASCAR analyst takes on the race itself. You'll be able to get that in the form of a recap podcast that'll go alongside some recap articles. May not be every week with the article, the written form this week here, but we'll do it for the major races for sure. At least one of us will get that done. And
unless people definitely want to have the written article recaps. I mean, if we get that much backlash.
If you want to see those every single week, the written form along with the audio form, let us know, and we'll find a way to get those done. I mean, it's going to be pretty simple considering that I'm going to have notes when it's my turn to do the recap show anyway. So you can kind of just put together a quick article off that. So just let us know on that front. The third show each week is going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. It's going to go up. All time schedule, whatever, depending. And that's going to be your news and notes, your updates as far as penalties, headlines from around the world of motorsports. And, if it's a light week, hey, maybe it'll be more focused on a little open wheel or some Xfinity, some trucks, whatever. That show's kind of flexible. I think we're thinking as things play out, kind of news dependent. So yeah, you're going to get 3 shows, 2 of them probably no more than half an hour each week at the most. And then the main show here, we went long today because we had news and notes. And like I said, we're probably dividing this up into 2 episodes anyway. But your main preview show, 45 minutes, we'll be shooting for throughout season 2. Do you approve?
Yes.
There it is. There's a thumbs up. That's all I needed. Good to go. I'm thrilled to be back.
We're cutting into truck qualifying. Come on, let's go.
Oh my gosh. We got to go. Don't forget FlurrySports.org too. You can find all the written stuff. We're already cranking stuff out for the Daytona 500. More's on the way. The official DFS and betting columns will be coming. We might even have a new writer, maybe more, potentially, joining us for the upcoming season. So we're thrilled about that. Zach can boss some people around now, so that's good. More people than me. You got anything else, sir?
What do you mean boss you around? Don't even. Just remember to watch. We have the Truck Series on tonight. It's 7:30. FS1. Tomorrow's the Xfinity. Saturday is the Xfinity Series race at 5.
Beef.
And then you have no.
It's what's for dinner.
I'm going somehow.
Tomorrow.
I'm going to throw something all the way from here to Wyoming just to hit you.
No.
Yeah.
Beef's a big deal. There's more cows in Wyoming than there are people.
I hate everything.
And you are bossy.
Shut up. And then Sunday, 2:30 is the Daytona 500. Tune in. I know we're all gonna have fun. We have our own. We have Daytona 500 squares going again. It's gonna be fun. I'll try to have an article up on that. But yeah, should be fun.
You should definitely get that up. That'd be a little addition. What was I going to add? Oh, ARCA's tomorrow too, Saturday afternoon. The full TV schedule, all those details, it's up over on the site right now.
Yeah, there's 2 of them because we're idiots and don't know what we're doing apparently.
Yeah, no, I'm the idiot. I'll put the blame on myself for that one. Whoops. But yeah, you can get all speed weeks, whatever you need to watch, start times, TVs. It's all over there. Check those out. More stuff on the way. Thank you for tuning in, those who watch live. Thank you for rejoining us for another season on the audio platforms as well. Don't forget to subscribe, whatever you got to do. Spotify, Apple, Google. We're everywhere. We've got new artwork coming too. We're crushing it. Season 2, Burnt Rubber Racing. We're crushing it in our own little fantasy world. Zach, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, anytime.
Happy Daytona week, everyone. Enjoy the 500. One of us or both of us, might be both this week because it is the Great American Race. We'll be back with a recap after it all goes down. And until next time.